And even thought is an action, part of the action.
Yes, intention.
Action originates in the thoughts. So once you indulge yourself in something evil, bad, something which is harming the other, causing pain, suffering to any other person, then you are doing something for which the results are going to be there. No amount of worship, no amount of your...
On this planet or somewhere else?
We don't know.
But it will happen.
Yeah, it's bound to happen.
Okay.
In this life or in the afterlife, we don't know. But the pain and suffering if I am causing to somebody, and that starts within me like cruelty, like anger.
Yes, it
like
harms
whatever,
you first.
It starts in my own body and mind. Then I'll have to pay for that.
Okay.
There can be no prophet.
That can save me.
No God, no avatar.
No guardian angel.
No God or angel who will be standing guarantee for me. Oh, no, no, no. This man, this boy, this woman or whatever, I stand witness for.
But this way you'll somehow destroy all the industry of religion. I mean, if there is...
Well, as you rightly said, this has become a global industry.
It has indeed. It has
indeed.
indeed.
It has
We all
become
agree
a
to
global
that.
industry. And I call it a multi-billion-dollar soul-saving industry.
Yeah, or soul-destroying.
Soul-destroying industry. Yeah. And a whole army of middlemen and middlewomen.
Yeah, because if you say no amount of worship can obliterate that punishment of my bad act,
yes,
then there is no need of any temple or church. Or
yes,
I mean, then
yes.
I have to bear with the fruits of what I've done.
Yes. So each one individual, each one of us has to be made to realize that you are responsible for your actions. You are. Nobody
That's a
else
very,
can
very
be
important point.
your redeemer. Nobody else. So all children from their early age, they should be told, they should be taught, they should be inspired to feel that each one of them is responsible for his or her action. Huh? Okay. And no middleman. No prophet, no pagambar, no guru, no avatar is going to sort of pull them out of the results, painful results of whatever, and then give you heavenly pleasures and other things. No way. So one has to...
So something like this which has been happening for 5,000 years, would you then call this like a religious bigotry in which poor souls were being made into foolish, were being pulled into a foolish business by some priests?
Definitely. Definitely. You see that all around.
This will create a lot of controversy.
No, everyday life we see this. That most of these religions are flourishing on this very, very false premise. That they will pray for you. The priests are praying overtime.
Yes.
To save other souls. And for that they bring in some middleman, some prophet, somebody, or a son of God.
So you think Jesus
or a
was
daughter
not
of
a prophet?
God, or a son-in-law of God, or an avatar of God. So they manipulate all of these things. And then they tell you, okay, you have sinned, no problem. We will find a way out for you. You have to simply donate a little money here, little money there, or pray this way or that way. We will tell you all the details, the rituals and the dogmas, etc. And you attend this worship in this temple or this mosque or this church, and all your worries, all your,
Okay.
So they will be taken care of.
So you think that people like Jesus and say Muhammad or Ram or Krishna, they did not possess any supernatural powers. They were just ordinary people.
Well, I would not say that in their own time they were ordinary. They were really very good people, great people, with great message of love, compassion, justice, etc. They stood for truth of their time also. And they tried to show the way to humanity. Mm-hmm. So their life was really spiritual and to a great extent universal.
Inspiring, yes.
Yeah, inspiring also. That's what I gather. normally whenever I read about the life stories of such great people, I find that this is something very, very common in
Can
all
you
of
just
these.
elaborate with giving one example of any individual amongst these? Like,
Well, like there is a story about Jesus who said, "Go and be like a child."
yes,
He told those learned people. Now, why child? Because child is innocent,
he's innocent.
pure innocence,
It's not corrupt.
not corrupt, not prejudiced, and so many other things. So from the stories of from the life of Prophet Muhammad also, when he used to pass through a particular lane in Mecca, a Jewish lady would throw garbage from
Yes,
upper
yes.
story on him, and he would
Shrug it off and
dirt
move
it
on,
off,
yeah.
shake it off, and go away smilingly. One day, nobody threw anything. There was no garbage on him. So he looked around and asked people, why? What happened? So people said, she has been taken ill. And immediately, without, taking any hard view or harsh view about this lady, he goes upstairs and finds her, inquires about her health, and maybe he presents some fruits or something to her. Now that is the way, that's the message they are giving. That's the message of love. When a dead body was being carried in front of Prophet Muhammad and he was sitting, he immediately gets up. Somebody told him, "Oh, why are you getting up and paying respect?" He was a Jew who died. So was he not a human being? So that sense of humanity, insaniyat,
Yes,
the whole of
universality.
humanity is one. This is being reflected in the attitudes like that of Buddha, like Guru Nanak, like in our own
Yes.
times, Gandhiji, etc. So many of these people, they really have shown us the way of humanity, of love, compassion, and truth.
And then
Instead, we reduce them to religions and sects and smaller sects and denominationals and this type of worship and that type of worship, and we create our own industry, business, and commerce.
okay.
This type of religion has to go.
Yeah,
This has no future
It's a
because
middleman
this
and
has already
priests with
created
a
so much of pain and
insidious
misery.
agenda. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
there's an insidious agenda of earning, of economics behind it.
Yes, pure economics, pure commerce, I would say.
So, Swamiji, according to your concept of God, which you say has come from the Vedas, which is the Vedic concept of God, you've explained to us in detail till now that we do not need to look for God and worship God in places like temples created by humans, created by middlemen. And for centuries, these middlemen have exploited us for their own devious purposes. Now, I would like to come back on Vedas now and ask you, if this was the concept in Vedas, how did this get manipulated?
I can't tell you much about the historical aspect of,
But
when
with time.
and how and who did it. But somewhere it got corrupted.
Again, with some
Yeah.
agendas.
The basic message of one God and one creation, one universe, one human family. If we agree on this very basic concept, what comes out of it is a global movement for proactive social spirituality.
Okay.
No? That's the clear message, simple message. Every child on this planet Earth from the day one should be brought up with these values which are global, universal,
And spiritual.
moral, ethical, spiritual. And then our education system, our social systems, our economic system should all be guided by not just the unity of all human beings as members of one family, but also from the ideology or the whole philosophy of social justice,
Of social
equality, equity and justice.
So this is very non-discriminatory.
Yes, non-discriminatory, no prejudice against the other. All human beings are born equal. Now, if the United Nations Universal Charter of Human Rights starts with this, all human beings are born equal. then what is the foundation, the spiritual foundation for that? I say the Vedas provide you with a spiritual foundation.
Okay.
They talk about a God who is universal, who is not sectarian, who is not just favoring one set
One
of
particular
followers or
community, yes, yes.
worshippers, but the God's laws, the laws of creation are equally applicable to all human beings.
So then, please explain to us, how did this most diabolic caste system, which is so very discriminatory, and most of the people who practice caste system come into a society, I mean say an Indian society, which followed the Vedas. In fact, I've heard many people saying that the caste system originated because of the Vedic concept.
Yeah, that's again, so much manipulation or interpolation has gone into these Vedic concepts, Vedic texts even. The Vedas do not talk about any birth-based caste system. There is a Purush Sukta
Okay.
in Rig Veda, which says something which normally is being sort of claimed by those who want to find or smell casteism.
Yes, I've heard about
Vedas. So,
like the Brahman was born from the head.
yes, born from the head. Brahmano asya mukham asit, bahu rajanya krita.
Yes, the
Tad puru
Kshatriyas.
tad vaishya, shudro padabhyam ajayata. That God as the great human person, or like a great Virat Purush, the Brahman was born from the mouth, from the head or mouth, and Kshatriyas from the shoulders, and the Vaishyas from the stomach or belly or whatever you call, and the Shudras
That's
from the thighs and from the
legs.
feet.
Yeah.
And this way they try to upgrade or downgrade human beings by birth. Now Swami Dayananda has given a very, very simple answer to this. While he was interpreting the Vedas, Rig Veda particularly in this particular mantra, he says, nobody is born from the mouth or from the shoulders or from thighs or from the feet. Everybody, all human beings are born the way they are born. And there is nothing to suggest that some specific brand of people are born from as Brahmins. It says, those who want to acquire knowledge and fight the forces of untruth, ignorance, they should be called Brahmins. Those who fight the forces of injustice, they should be called Kshatriyas. And those who fight the forces of inadequacy, want, poverty, etc., they should be called Vaishya. And those who do not qualify, they should give themselves another chance and try to acquire. Now, this is Varna Vyavastha of the Vedas.
Yes.
Varna and Ashram, two distinct two aspects of
which divide the society into four.
In four
parts.
Varnas and four Ashrams. Now, all of this may be the Vedic concept, but it has nothing to do, rather it's just opposite of birth-based caste system. Every child born a human child is entitled to equal opportunities in terms of education and upbringing, equal opportunities. No discrimination between a male child and a female child, no discrimination between a higher caste born or a lower caste born, because we do not recognize any caste by birth.
Okay, now the concept looks nice. I mean, it suggests that a person who acts like the head of the body is the Brahman, the one who acts like the arms are the Kshatriyas, and one who acts like the stomach, that means doesn't keep all the nourishment to itself but spreads it, acts like the Vaishya.
Exactly.
But then, is it possible for a son of a Brahman to become, say, a Kshatriya, or say a son of a Shudra to become a Brahman? Is it possible?
It has been possible, and it was possible, and there are so many stories in Upanishads and so many other ancient literature.
So it can be by choice?
Yeah, by choice. It is definitely something by choice. But today, in this 21st century, I am very much in agreement with Dr. Babasaheb Bhimrao Ambedkar when he suggested that why we go back and try to create a society again under the same nomenclature, Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, etc., if not by birth or by choice, by action, by talent, by aptitude, as was being suggested by the then Arya Samaj leaders. So Ambedkar's view was that no, let's do away with it. Let each individual be known by his or her profession, a teacher, a professor, or whatever, engineer, doctor, or whoever.
So you mean to say the Varna Vyavastha or that social structure is irrelevant right now?
Well, in that sense, it is irrelevant, but it is very relevant in another sense, that every child should be so inspired, so trained, so skilled, that she should not be just self-centered.
Yes.
Should feel the urge, deep urge, a calling, a mission to take on the forces at societal level, at global level, at universal level. And once a child is learning at the school or college or university, whatever, and if the child develops this type of a mission in his or her life, then definitely it will shape the whole thinking and the whole aspiration. Instead of getting caught up in this economism today, as we find, the so-called placement agencies in picking up the bright students and placing them for some work in the corporate sector and making so much money, this and that. So these are becoming the models, role models. Instead, we are saying no. A person who, as a young person, has taken some sort of a pledge, some sort of a vow, some sort of a mission in his or her life to fight the dark forces of ignorance all around, anywhere, everywhere. Injustice, anywhere, everywhere. So that attitude will subserve our whole education system much, much better. Rather than turning individuals as selfish and
hedonistic,
etc.,
individualistic,
we will make out of this education system, we will turn out more and more missionaries instead of more and more mercenaries.
Oh.
Yes. So today we are turning out mercenaries.
So again, coming back to the caste system,
yes.
So there is no text that suggests that there should be a caste system.
No, absolutely none.
But there is a reference to the word jati.
Jati is completely different.
Is it not
it's
race?
Like a race.
Okay.
The whole of humanity.
So there is racism in the Vedas.
No, not racism. Again, the whole of humanity is one race.
Okay.
Yes. And in that sense, jati has been used. Saman prasvatmika jati. The pair of male and female which are able to reproduce, they are to be considered one jati.
Okay. So
that means a black man and a white woman
are one jati.
One jati, because they can produce a child.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And similarly,
so people who
Dalit
can
or a Brahmin,
reproduce together are one jati.
yes. We are all one jati, all humanity is one jati. Saman prasvatmika. We are all
born in the same way.
Born in the same way. And therefore, the caste system which has now come to acquire this whole nomenclature of jati vyavastha, jati system, is to be rejected completely.
That is a very interesting point, because till now, since ages, the Vedas were used as books to propagate caste system, and you say that there is no discrimination in the Vedas on the basis of caste.
You see, the Vedas were respected, and the learning, Vedic learning, was considered to be a prime goal of one's life, and practicing those ideals and values was considered to be very, something
very
to
pious,
aspire for.
Yes, yes.
Now, over the course of time, period of time, I don't know how many thousands of years, people started manipulating the Vedas,
yes,
and trying to impose their own ideas,
yes, like any
in
other,
the name of Vedas.
Yeah, like any other religious text.
Yeah, in a religion.
Yeah.
And in this way, corruption and so much of perversion.
So did you have any personal experience with of the caste system in your life?
Well,
I know you have fought against, I've seen your website, I've seen your work, you've fought against caste system, you fought for the entry of the Dalits in temples, and you've been fighting it through, but on a very personal level, As a kid, did you have some experiences of this diabolic system in India?
Well, your question takes me back to my early childhood days. I was born, as I told you, in a Brahmin family, and very, very high caste, perhaps the highest Brahmin family, highest grade of Brahmin family in South India. My mother tongue was Telugu. And when my father died when I was hardly 4 years old, then my maternal grandfather brought me up. And he was a devout Brahmin, would worship gods and goddesses 2 hours in the morning, 2 in the evening, very particular, observing all those rituals and dogmas and everything. As a child, I would also be doing the same thing.
Okay, so you also followed the caste system as a child.
I followed the caste system. And this was drilled into my ears that I was high caste and Brahmin caste, and therefore I should keep a distance from those who are born lower caste. And then my grandfather, who brought me up, I'm so sort of grateful to that great man for all the compassion he showed to me. He would be owning lots of land in that small princely state. Hundreds of acres of land he was owning. And yet he would not go and cultivate. He would not till the land. There would be so many other sort of servants or
laborers, yes,
tillers,
peasants,
laborers who would be doing this job. It's a very hard job. And I now distinctly remember their faces, their whole, appearances. In the evening after sunset, they would come and stand out there in the corner of a courtyard, never dare enter into the main precincts of our house, and half clad, not full body clothes, but just lion cloth. Their bodies dark because they've been working in the sun whole day. And standing there with folded hands, emaciated bodies, not real healthy bodies, and they would be like begging for something. They would be reporting about the day's work. And sometimes I would be told as a child, oh, take this, whatever left over in the family, some food or some clothes or whatever, go and give it to them, these poor wretched people, they will feel good if you give it to them. So while I would be going to give it to them, I would be told, I would be whispered into my ears that don't touch them, just throw it at them. And I in my innocence would like to know, why? What happens if I touch them? Then I would be told, look, you don't have to touch them. You simply throw at them. If you happen to touch, even innocently, then you will have to take a shower, change your clothes, purify yourself because they are untouchables. And I would be so dutifully going there and throwing at them and running away back to my parents or my other family members. So this way I practiced caste system myself. And there I encountered this great movement called Arya Samaj. I studied the Vedas and got the point of view of Maharishi Dayanand. Then only I realized that I was doing something abominable.
Yes, it
something
was untouchability.
Inhuman. So then I started giving up my whole idea of being a Brahmin and a higher caste and superior caste and those Dalits as lower caste. And today I stand liberated from all those feelings or notions of caste system. And I fight against caste system when I liberate these bonded laborers.
So in your life, it was the Vedic concept that did not actually impose the caste system, but liberated you, if I may say that.
Exactly. The Vedic concept, when I studied the Vedas and the Upanishads and all of these things, through the eyes of Maharishi Dayanand, who corrected